Hello and welcome to the Beer Jerk Beer of the Week drink along. I'm Luke and this week we're drinking Mataccino from Mata. As you may have guessed from the name, it's... Hopefully you can hear me okay. We've got a gig happening at the Fridge and Flagon shortly, so they're just doing sound checks. So we'll see if my microphone works properly. But anyway, we are drinking Mataccino, which as you may have guessed is a coffee-inspired beer. Cheers. This is a beer from Mata, who we heard a little bit about last week. So Tammy is one of the owners and the head brewer down there, and has been making fantastic beers for quite a long time actually, including this one, Mataccino, which I think she first brewed in 2014. So Tammy and her team down in Whakatane have been making fantastic beers for a pretty long time with her mum Gloria and her uncles and the rest of the team. So as I said last week, they've got their taproom down there, so you should definitely pay them a visit when you're next in the Eastern Bay of Plenty. So yeah, Mataccino is not a new beer by any stretch. They've been brewing it for almost 10 years. And it's always nice when this seasonal comes around because it's rich and layered and complex. It's not as extreme as some of the modern big imperial milk stouts that have all kinds of adjuncts. It's 6%, but it's lovely and full flavoured. There's a good amount of coffee in there, really lovely amount of vanilla beans, and it's sort of like a velvety oak woodiness to it. Yeah, it's a really beautiful beer, really nicely balanced. And it has lactose in it, so not one for the vegans, I'm afraid. And lactose is a kind of milk sugar. Milk stouts kind of became cool again about 10 years ago, probably around the time this beer first emerged for the first time. But milk stouts were incredibly uncool more than 10 years ago. They were associated with people like Ina Sharples from Coronation Street. Mackeson's Milk Stout, which I think is maybe 3% or thereabouts. It's been very popular since about 1900 with old ladies in the north of England primarily. So yeah, it's just a beer style that people enjoyed because it was lower in alcohol generally. It had a nice sweetness to it, a nice bit of roastiness to it, some coffee and chocolate character. And a nice drink for old ladies is what it was known as. And the reason it's sweet is that it contains lactose, which is simply milk sugar, which is one of the only kinds of sugar that yeast doesn't eat and turn into alcohol. So lots of brewers use different kinds of sugars in their beer. So I brewed with date sugar is a really interesting one to use. Candy sugar is a really popular popular sugar style to add to beers in Belgium especially. But you can add a lot of, for example, brown sugar to a beer and it doesn't make it sweet. It makes it drier actually because the sugar is eaten by the yeast, turned into alcohol. And you will retain some of the character that you'll get from these complex sugars, but definitely not the sweetness. If you want sweetness to retain in your beer, generally you do need to use lactose, which is what's happened here. So you've got the cacao flavours in there that have been added to it, the vanilla, as I say, quite a lot of coffee in this beer. A really well put together beer. So I'm struggling to focus a little bit because of this wonderful music that's happening here. So we have got a gig happening tonight at the Fridge and Flagon. So you're not going to see it because you'll be watching this tomorrow in the future. But perhaps you will come along to our movie night screening of Beetlejuice, which is showing on Thursday night for Halloween. And even more likely, you're going to come to Spring Nanofest on Saturday. We used to do Nanofest as an annual festival. I've decided to do it 4 times a year, once a season, so celebrating all the smallest breweries in New Zealand. We've got a really brilliant lineup. There's a new Korean donut place opening up around the corner, so Mikey from the donut place is going to be bringing along a whole array of donuts that we're going to be pairing with some of the interesting beers. I'm going to wrap this up now. Thank you for joining us. I really hope you enjoy this beer. Do go and check out Mata when you're in Whakatane over the summertime. Really great people making really fantastic beers. And the Mataccino is a bit of a classic and a little bit of a throwback to when there were some good puns left in beer. There aren't really any good puns that still remain for people to use. So Good on you, Tammy and the Mata gang. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Hey, if you're a Beer of the Week subscriber, tell your friends. It would be good to get a few more people signed up. We have a surprisingly small number of people that drink along each week with us for these beers. It only costs $8 a week. It includes shipping and everything else. So do get your mates involved. We'd love to be able to continue doing what we do. See you next time. Cheers.